smiling at there, Andrew?
I don't know, why? What are you smiling at?
I'm just smiling at my son, little Andrew Dingle. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, father. How are you?
Great, I'm good. What a classic intro. Let's take a look at the headline, shall we? A released WWE star has signed with Ring of Honor. An NXT star has been written off of TV and is said to be out for months. And Jon Moxley has responded to some AEW criticism. We'll tell you more in a bit. It's interesting seeing where some of the released WWE superstars from the cull of 2020, Black Wednesday, have ended up. We've got people that have ended up in Impact, we've got people that have ended up in AEW, and now we've got a new wrestler, signing with Ring of Honor. He actually showed his face last year in Ring of Honor, but now he's signed proper with the company. Who is it, Dingle?
It's only EC3, Adam. Finally, getting some time that he deserves, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it was weird because he signed with Impact Wrestling, or it looked like he had signed with Impact Wrestling. He popped up, he did the program with Moose, he nicked Moose's belt, and then he left. And he's had the greatest success of his career in Impact Wrestling. As far as investment in character goes, EC3 did the best work that he's ever done there, and then he went over to WWE, went back to Impact Wrestling, but not for long, and now he's with Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor releasing the following statement. Ring of Honor is pleased to announce that EC3 is signed with the company. EC3, who had been wrestling's hottest free agent since he hit the open market last summer, made a few appearances with Ring of Honor in the fall. He made his unannounced return on last weekend's episode of Ring of Honor Wrestling to confront Jay Briscoe. Now he has signed. EC3 seized control of his narrative during his time as a free agent. A darker, more intense, and more dangerous EC3 showed up in Ring of Honor, declaring that he was on a quest to see if honor is real. Andrew, is honor real?
He does this thing, right, in Ring of Honor where he puts his hand out and looks at his hand as if to say, someone come grab my hand. Because is honor real? What a thing. But no, do you know what? I've seen some of his stuff in Ring of Honor. It's really good. The Briscoes are amazing as it is anyway. They go really hard in anything that they do. They put literally everything into it. So like a darker EC3 against the Briscoes, I think that'll be amazing. I think that'll be an amazing angle. I think it'll be really cool.
I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian here and say that as much as I like EC3, I much preferred Ethan Carter III, the dickhead. But maybe he's sort of changing it up because, like, you've got other people sort of doing that role. Like, there is sort of MJF, there's shades of EC3 in there, and maybe he wants to do something different. But for me, the darker character hasn't clicked quite as much as EC3 in TNA Impact did. But I'll be interested to see what he does. He's a very, very talented guy and a guy that should have definitely been utilised better in WWE. Good luck! Next up, a report that an NXT star could be out of action for months. We are talking now about Casey Catanzaro, who was seemingly written off of telly this week. What happened, Andrew?
So on NXT on Wednesday, she was having a match against Xia Li, and the match spilled outside, all going outside. It's kicking off, Adam, it's kicking off. And basically, Xia Li chucks her into the barricade. She rolls over to the steel steps, and her leg is like draped on the steel steps. And Xia Li just like goes up and straight down with kick, my knee. I hit my knee on the table.
Going to be written off now. 2 months, 3 months, you're gone.
Oh my God, can't believe it. But yeah, she stamps on her leg. It looked pretty brutal. And then Casey gets back in the ring, refs are trying to help her up. And then Xia Li does the black mass since, you know, Aleister Black's not using it anymore, unfortunately. So like, boom, straight kick to the head and that's it.
Commentary did say that she could have a broken leg. She definitely doesn't have a broken leg, so don't get too concerned. But Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer saying, Casey Catanzaro must be injured legit because they said she had a broken leg, right? When they say she's got a broken leg, that means she'll be out for months because that's an excuse for a real injury. She also had a big brace on that knee to begin with, so she's obviously really hurt. The thing is, I watched the match. She was doing some pretty sort of athletic, flippy bollocks before this happened. So I don't think it's a leg thing, is it?
This is weird because there was more back and forth in this match than there has been in any Xia Li match, like in recent weeks, which felt weird because she did seem to be moving fine. Like there didn't seem to be any sort of signs of an injury. So this could potentially be something else, perhaps. I'm not sure. It's
weird that they make a wrestler if she's got some sort of injury that necessitates months off, as is being reported here. It's odd that they'd even let her wrestle. This is pure speculation, right? But obviously she's had a bit of a hard time of it, and she's been massively criticised for various things on social media to do with the COVID outbreak and her sort of like going to restaurants, not wearing a mask or whatever. Could this? She deactivated her Twitter as well. Could this be something to do with that? Do you think this could be like a mental health break just because she's had a bit of a hard time of it?
Yeah, I think so, because I mean that's going to take its toll, isn't it? Like getting a lot of backlash online from stuff, you know. So it very well could be, and I mean more power to her for taking some time off if it is that, just to sort of get herself, you know, in a better headspace and come back better than before. Because I think she's got some good stuff in her future, especially with Caden Carter doing the tag team stuff, because those two have been really good. They were really good in the Dusty Tag Classic thing, and was doing some really nice liquid techers, as we like to call it, together, Adam. They were doing some good stuff. And,
she's so impressive. Like she
is.
Does stuff that you just don't see many other wrestlers do. She's very, very. She's unique. She really is. So that was pure speculation. I should point out once again. I just find it unusual that they would have her wrestle on TV. And then potentially write her out for several months. So look forward to seeing her back, and hopefully she gets well soon. Next up, Jon Moxley has hit back at critics of the exploding barbed wire death match that AEW have announced for AEW Revolution. Of course, Omega versus Moxley in a match that is going to be absolutely bonkers. Moxley has sent a warning to those who may be a bit squeamish, maybe think, hey, that's not my grabs. What's he said, Andrew?
He said, turn it off. Turn it off, Adam. Turn it off.
Like a light switch.
Good, no? That. No, I don't know that one. Let me continue with a quote.
One person in the comments.
I'd say you probably shouldn't watch the pay-per-view then, or at least turn it off before the match happens. It's the good thing about AEW. We've got a little something for everybody, but there's really no way to sugarcoat an exploding barbed wire death match, you know? So if you don't want to see it, then don't watch. If you think your kid is going to be a bit too young to watch it, a little bit too violent for them, don't watch it. And yes, I think this is a good approach to it. Just don't watch it if it's a bit much for you.
He's absolutely spot on there, talking to Inside the Ropes, where he said that, I wish more people would take this approach where, you know, you're not being forced to watch anything. If it's not for you, then that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Nobody should be forced to like something, forced to pretend to like something. But also, you've got a remote. You don't have to watch it. You really don't. Wrestling, there's something for everyone. You get the same thing with every style of wrestling. High-flying, flippy bollocks. Oh, that's not real wrestling. Like comedy wrestling, that's not real wrestling. If it's not for you, then, yeah, don't watch it. And companies will respond to that. If there were a great number of people, like a majority who were like, okay, we're not into this, they would stop doing it. But obviously these things are successful because they're done. And I like a wrestling show where there's a little bit of something for everyone. I'm totally with Jon Moxley here, and I think that's just got quite a nice, succinct way to put it. Just turn it off if you don't fancy it.
Yep, absolutely. I think it's really good as well because they're bringing something new to mainstream wrestling too. I think that's a really good thing that AEW, Jon Moxley, and Kenny Omega are doing. And either way, right, even if he's like, turn it off, it doesn't really matter because this is such a big thing for AEW that, controversy or not, people are going to tune in and watch this and put their eyes on this thing that's going to happen. Like, this is a good thing no matter what happens. So, yeah.
I agree. I want to see Omega get his pissing head blown off here, mate. Good luck, John. Next up, on a recent episode of Talk is Jericho, Chris Jericho has talked about how he was turned away from WWE's booth at a New York City toy fair. This is a bit of a weird one. What did he say, Andrew?
He said, I was there. Kenny Omega was there. Cody Rhodes, Hangman, The Bucks. I remember Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. We kind of had our air crew there. It was so funny. Typical WWE bull plops. They wouldn't let us up there to see their display. And so one of the guys let me in. And then I was filming something. He goes, you can't film. I go, why? He goes, because I'll get in trouble. And if they know you're up here, I'm like, I've made these guys effing 200 Chris Jericho WWE action figures, and I can't come to look at your display. But their display was in the back of the room in a corner, and they had nobody there. None of the talent was there, and I thought, this is pretty lame in comparison to what AEW has, which really surprised me, especially at the toy fair in New York City, Adam.
This to me, it's like DX going to WCW tapings on the tank, isn't it? It's that all over again. If anything, this is even more impressive. The fact that Chris Jericho wasn't allowed to film near a table with some toys on it. That's huge.
Mental.
To be honest, this guy, whoever it is, he probably doesn't actually work for WWE. Maybe he does. But I can understand why he wouldn't want that, because he'll get if he works for WWE, he'll get an earful from his bosses, and he's just protected himself, isn't he? Like if they were filming near it and they wanted to film something in front of the WWE toy booth, they wanted to do something to bury WWE. They wanted to do some sort of skit where they take the piss out of them, and I can understand why somebody who worked for WWE or worked for a toy company affiliated with WWE wouldn't want that to happen, because you're just going to get a load of bollocks from your bosses. So fair play to him, but I wish I could see the footage, because I imagine it will. And finally, some proper Friday morning news bollocks from Triple H, speaking on the Good Time show, which is hosted by a friend of mine, actually. Musk was called out for disrespecting the business of pro wrestling. Triple H, what did he say?
He said, let me address Elon Musk, because I feel like there's been some disrespect going on here. Because I don't know if he has a superiority complex because he's a rocket scientist. A self-taught rocket scientist, right? Big deal. He's a guy that sort of revolutionized the electric car, all because he wanted to fly rockets to Mars. Big deal. Taught himself how to build cars, taught himself how to revolutionize the automobile industry, taught himself how to revolutionize space travel, then comes up with reusable rockets, the whole thing. Triple H then goes on to say, then he goofs around on the internet, flips some things around, becomes the biggest billionaire, trillionaire, or whatever he is, the richest guy in the world, which, by the way, he couldn't maintain for long. I'm sure he'll flip that around. Laughs. Do a laugh. Do your best Triple H laugh, because he does it in thing.
Carry on.
That's good. Oh, right. And he goes on to continue. He continues. At this point, Elon, you have to ask yourself, all those incredible accomplishments, and believe me, they are cool, but who have you beaten? Who's he beaten, Adam? Who have you ever beat? Answer is nobody. And then he continues. I'm going further, Adam. Let me finish it all.
Here comes the challenge.
So, if you want to disrespect our business, I will anytime, any place, anywhere, fight you. Elon Musk, if you've got the guts, if you have what it takes to do this, then you and I will talk about what I really want to talk about, which is taking one of your rockets, launching it from Florida, going up into space, heading to Mars with a team from the Performance Center, where we can then put on the largest spectacle the universe has ever seen, WrestleMania Mars. One of them.
Elon Musk has yet to respond to the challenge. So, stay tuned for that. He'll definitely... You know what? Triple H is so good at this PR stuff and getting a bit of attention, isn't he? Next thing, no doubt, Triple H will send him a belt. With a little rocket on it, shaped
just
like
send him Universal Championship. Get rid of it. Go on.
The universe. Great stuff. So yeah, Triple H versus Elon Musk on Mars, coming soon to your screens. Take care of yourselves, Andrew.
Bye.
Great. Bye.